June's workshop was too small for the weight of what they were building. The mirror drive sat beside the battery rig, blinking steadily in the dim light. Lena watched the pulse of it, then looked up at June, who was already sketching routes on a scrap of oilcloth. Marcus stood near the doorway with his rifle slung loose, scanning the street through a cracked pane as if the world might decide to break in just to prove him right. "We're not keeping everything here," June said. "If the camp gets hit, we lose it all." Lena nodded once. "So, we move the backups." Marcus looked back at her. "You said we'd split the work." "We are," Lena replied. "You keep the settlement alive. June and I find a place to hide the copies." June's pencil stopped. "You and me?" Lena met her eyes. "You know power. I know what matters enough to carry." Marcus gave a short, humorless laugh. "That's one way to call this a bad idea." "It's a necessary one," Lena said. June rolled the oilcloth tighter and tucked it under her arm. "There's an old storm station north of the city. Half buried. Dry, reinforced, and forgotten. If it still has a sealed sublevel, we could make it a vault." Marcus frowned. "And if it doesn't, then we find out before anyone else does." He didn't like that answer. Lena could see it in the set of his jaw, in the way his fingers tightened once against the sling of his rifle. But he didn't argue again. That night, Lena and June prepared in silence. They packed copied files, wrapped them in oilskin, and separated the medical notes from the memory ledgers. Lena insisted on 2 sets of everything. "One stays with the camp," she said. "One goes with us." June tested the battery pack. "You sound like you're expecting the world to drop on us." Lena's mouth almost smiled. "It usually does." They left before sunrise. The streets outside the settlement were pale and empty, all cracked concrete and rusted steel. June led with a short-range light rigged to a belt pack, the beam cutting across debris and old signs. Lena carried the ledgers close to her chest, wrapped in cloth, as if they were heat she refused to lose. They moved through 3-character silence. At the edge of the industrial district, they found the storm station. It rose from the ground like a broken tooth, half buried under collapsed earth and vines gone brittle in the dry air. June checked the outer seal while Lena studied the rusted access hatch. "This was built to last," June muttered. "Everything was built to last," Lena said. "That was the lie." June glanced at her. "You always talk like you're carrying a funeral and a birth at the same time." Lena looked at the hatch. "Because I am." June smiled faintly, then drove her tool into the seam and forced the seal loose. The hatch groaned open. Inside, the air was cold and dead. The sublevel was smaller than they hoped, but drier than the world above. Shelves lined one wall. Old cabinets sat bolted to the floor. A collapsed map table occupied the center, and beneath a dust cover they found a working relay console, untouched but dormant. June crouched beside it immediately. "If the wiring's intact, we can power this." Lena ran a hand over a shelf full of old binder boxes. "If the boxes survive, we can store the ledgers here." June looked over. "You're already deciding where everything goes." "I have to." June kept working, and after a long minute she said, "You know, this is what you wanted from the beginning." Lena folded one of the memory books open and skimmed a page of names.
"No."
"I wanted people to remember." "That's not the same?" "It becomes the same if we do it right." June didn't answer. She had the relay console open now, fingers moving fast with the confidence of someone speaking a language the rest of the world had forgotten. A low green light blinked on. "It lives," she said softly. Lena looked up. "Not for long," June added, "but enough. Enough to charge a small bank. Enough to keep the copies safe if we ration power." Lena set the ledger on the table with care. "Then this is the place." June nodded once, then began marking the shelves with chalk. Medical on the left. Memory in the center. Emergency supplies by the console. Lena watched her work, then took up a second piece of chalk and helped. 2 women in a forgotten chamber, building a future out of storage rules and borrowed power. When they returned, Marcus met them at the outer gate with hard eyes and a relieved face he tried to hide. "You found it." Lena held up one of the oilskin bundles. "We did." Marcus glanced at June and June shrugged. Dry, defensible, and a little ugly. Perfect. He gave a single nod, then looked past them toward the street. Good. Because we've got another problem. Lena's grip tightened on the bundle. There's movement near the east approach, Marcus said. Not raiders. Not yet. A scouting line. They're watching the settlement. June's face went still. How many? 3, maybe 4. Marcus looked at Lena. I sent word to Bryn and Jace. They're ready to help, but they need direction. Lena nodded slowly. The vault existed now. So did the threat. We'll protect both, she said. Marcus studied her a moment. You still think you can do everything? No, Lena said. I think we can do enough. That evening, Lena stood in the vault with June while Marcus reported from the gate. The relay console hummed. Copies of medical notes sat in their new place. Memory ledgers rested on the center shelf. Everything they had saved was fragile, but no longer lost. June leaned against the table. If we keep this hidden, it survives. If we keep teaching, it lives, Lena said. June gave her a long look. You really never let go, do you? Lena touched the edge of a ledger. Not when it matters. Marcus appeared in the doorway, breath tight. They're back. The scouts. And they brought someone with them. Who? Lena asked. Marcus' face darkened. Someone who knows this camp. He stepped aside, and in the doorway stood a hooded figure from the settlement, face half-hidden, posture tense with fear. Their eyes moved from Lena to June to the vault shelves. Lena, the figure said quietly, they know about the hidden place. The room fell silent. Lena looked at June, then Marcus, then the stranger in the doorway. And she knew the next choice would decide more than one safe room. Your turn to decide, Part 4. What should Lena do next? Option A, secure the vault immediately and prepare for a direct defense, trusting Marcus to hold the gate. Option B, follow the stranger and try to uncover how the scouts learned about the hidden place. Option C, split the team again. One pair defends the vault while the other tracks the leak, risking being outmatched in both places.